Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Hey, Nancy had asked how was I able to make a backing on this image right here, and I'll remove this one right now so that you can watch the video where I show it turning off and on, or front and back. This is the design that I used. I got this from EMB Library. Notice mine doesn't look at all like this. Okay, the first thing I did when I brought mine in was I just came up here to edit and ungroup. That's going to allow me to take this image apart. As I take, whoops, I got to select it first and say edit, ungroup. And then as I start taking these pieces away, let's save that one, I can delete them. So this one I'm going to delete, hit delete on my keyboard. This one, hit delete on my keyboard. This one I'm going to group back together. So I'm going to hit Control G on my keyboard because I want those to stay together. And this was my outer piece. Let me get my arrow and grab this and bring it over. Now, I can kind of center this if I want to. Center it in the hoop, and then center this one in the hoop. Okay, there we go. All right, but I think I can make this one smaller, and you'll see why in just a minute. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key so it changes from the center out, or outside into the center, just like that, till I'm pretty happy and it looks like everything is fitting within that design. And to me, that looks perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is, and you'll only be able to do this if you have the Merrowly portion of Embrilliance. Merrowly, it comes with a whole bunch of cool fonts and things that you can use. I'll have a link for it for you down below if you'd like to take a look. But when you have Merrowly, you can come up here to Utility and add patch edge. Notice you could add a rectangular patch edge or a circle, but I want to do page wrap. Watch what this does. Beautiful, right? It made it wrap right around the design. So what I can do now is I can delete this piece. I no longer need it. And I'm actually going to make my wrap a little smaller, or my badge, or my patch. Holding down Shift again, I'm going to drag it in a bit. And as long as everything looks like it's going to fit pretty well, that looks good to me. I'm happy with that. Now, if we look at the stitch simulator, let's see what's going to happen. First, we're going to have the placement stitch. Then we're going to have all these other stitches for our patch, but I don't want all of that because I don't want my front and back stitched together yet. I want my front to be just the blue jean material, and I want my back, which is the Christmassy material, to hide all the ugly stitches on the back of the front. So I've got to switch this around a little bit. So what I did was this, and maybe there are many ways to do this. Lisa Shaw may be able to tell me a better way, but for now this worked for me. So I clicked on this, I came up here to copy and paste, and that pasted it as the last item over here in the objects panel. The next thing I did was I decided I wanted all of my inner stuff to be one color. So I selected that, step number 2, and highlighted it, and I came down here to where it says under color, it says one color, and I actually changed mine to white. So I'll kind of make, I guess I'll make it white here so it looks familiar. So I'll say okay, so there it is, all white. And now let's go back up here to this patch thing. The problem is I don't want it to stitch this final edge stitch. So while that's selected, if we come down here to where it says interactive, I can uncheck top stitch. So it's no longer going to do that big top stitch around the edge. But you may be thinking you can still see it, and the reason being is because of this one down here. So let's go ahead and make this one a different color. Okay, so I'm going to make this a different color. So I'll click on it and come down here. Here it shows me the colors. The applique position is going to be this kind of fleshy color. I'm going to change it to something different so we can see it easily. And the top stitch color, I'll change that to something else as well. Okay, so now, one last thing I decided to do. Remember how our stitch simulator, let's look, looks kind of weird right in here because it's white? I decided to go ahead and change this so we can see it more easily. I'll change it to one color again, but I'll make it this light green, and there we can see it better. Okay, so here we are in the stitch simulator. Obviously, the first thing it's going to do is to do the placement stitch for the blue jean material. Then it's going to do the tack down stitch for the blue jean material. So we need to do something. I must have, when I was finagling around, I messed something up. Go back to interactive, and we only want the position to show, not the top stitch. So let's start again. So all we have is the placement stitch, and I wanted to actually make another placement stitch here. This is the placement stitch. I want to make another one that will be the tack down stitch. Easy peasy. Hit copy and paste, puts it at the bottom, drag it up on top of the one up that you want it below, and let go of it, and it puts it right there. I do want to change its color though, so it doesn't stitch without stopping first. Okay, so now let's look what we have. We have the placement stitch. We have the tack down stitch. We have all the white, which is just showing up green right now. Then we have another tack down stitch, and this is tacking down the fabric on the back of your coaster. And then you'll have the final design being stitched out. So I hope that helps. I hope it makes sense. So again, we started with this file, clicked on it, came up here to edit and ungroup. Started to grab some of these things. As you grab them off, delete them. And we're left with these things. The next thing I did was I resized mine down a little bit, held the shift key, and dragged this in a little bit. Before I do any moving, I've got to move this out of the way and regroup this stuff back together. Control G on my keyboard. Make sure this fits. So I can center this and center this. And do they fit perfectly? Yes. So now I'll click on I'll just come up here to Utility and add Patch Edge and the page. Okay. Then I don't need this piece anymore, so I'll delete it. And I'll make this smaller, hold down the shift again and make it a little closer, a little tighter. It's like that. Okay. The next thing I did was, actually I could do this like this, came up here to this, and I came down to interactive, and the only thing I want to stitch right now is the position stitch. So see, I got rid of that. So that's going to give me my position stitch. And quite honestly, what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and duplicate that and move it back up here below that one, because the first one is the placement stitch for my blue jean fabric. The second one is the tack down stitch. So I'm going to make this second one a different color. The next thing I did was I changed all this so it would be the exact same color, and I made it white for my snowflakes, but I'll make it something else right now. One color, select a color, say OK. Everything is one color. Last thing I need to do is I need to make the patch again. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go to copy and paste. It puts it at the bottom. Let's check it out. Let's check out the interactive now. Okay, we want the position and the top stitch, or the fabric tack down, I should say, and the top stitch. So I'll put both of those there. And the position, I want it to be different than the top stitch. So this is perfect. Again, let's do it one more time. I believe I have it. The Stitch Simulator. Placement. Tack down. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Tack down. And then the final stitching. So that's it. Thanks again. Bye, you guys. Hey, check out my other videos if you like this one.